guys, it's Darcy here. So today's topic is all about how to be a master manifestor. I was going to name this video how to speed up your manifestations, but as we all know, I know that can be really triggering for people because we do get hung up on time sometimes and we compare. So here are some things that I wrote down that I have found to help me on my journey to becoming a master manifestor, because at the end of the day, it's not so much about when a manifestation comes in, but how you are living your day-to-day life as a master manifestor. So some of the things I wrote down that have helped me, and sometimes we slip up, so it's okay, but one of the big things is reminding ourselves that our emotions, our emotional state is not what's manifesting. Now, if you feel like your emotions match your belief of what is happening, then that makes more sense, right? But I have found that I have been able to be sad or miss an SP or miss whatever, an opportunity, whatever it is that I have going on in front of me. I'm trying to think of other things besides SP. Maybe mad about a financial situation, sad about a friend or SP, whatever. Those emotions don't always have to connect with your assumptions of things. So even though I was feeling those things, here's a perfect example. I've talked about this before, but recently with my internship, I was angry and frustrated because I was on a time crunch. But I had this assumption deep within me, this is going to work out in my favor. So you can have your emotions not quite match with your assumption. It's not the end of the world. And the reason why I want to point this out is because a lot of times people will get in the state and then they'll have an emotion pop up and they're like, oh no, I messed everything up. I have to start over like it's a game, and they got to start from level 1. So don't get so hung up on the emotions that come up. What I like to do, or what I tell clients to do sometimes, because when we're going back and forth and talking, a lot of my clients will send me voice memos and they'll go back and listen to how they sounded in that state, and they're like, oh my gosh, no, and so sometimes that's a helpful reminder. So it's okay to feel your emotions. It's okay to process your emotions. Just try not to get so hung up on them. Just let them be. When they pop up, they pop up. So that is number one. Number two for me, I've noticed, is resentment. And this one's a sneaky little shit. Okay. So resentment pops up a lot of times and we don't realize it. And we're manifesting an SP and we're like, oh, well, I'm not going to text him for a couple of hours, or, whatever you're doing where you're trying to almost punish your SP, this resentment of I'm not going to reach out first. Now, mind you, situations can vary, guys. So don't get hung up on the who's going to reach out first, because I have had clients come in who were manifesting an SP and their SPs told them they were going to contact them, or their SP decided to break up with them and they felt like there was nothing to say in the meantime. It was just better to manifest it. Everybody's situation is different, so don't get hung up on that. But I have seen clients before, and myself, hold resentment towards things or people or SPs because of some past behavior they did. So what resentment is saying is, hey, I'm still hung up on old story. Because, for example, I had a client say, well, I don't really know if I want to reach out to my SP because of how they acted before. Okay, well, how they acted before is old story. So if you're in that new story, you're in that state, you're in that flow state, you're not going to be hung up on that old story. So be careful with that. It's very, very, very sneaky. So pay attention to the resentment that comes up. Another thing that people really, really, even I sometimes get hung up on, is everyone is you pushed out, right? There has been times where I'm like, I didn't create this. I didn't create this. There's no way I created this, right? But you did create it. And instead of getting hung up on how you created it, how about we create awareness to what was I thinking that possibly created this, right? That's important for you to remind yourself, okay, well, maybe I was gossiping too much, and that's my next one that I'm going to talk about too. Gossiping too much with my friends about something that was annoying me in this situation. Okay, so now what do you need to do? You need to shift your thoughts, right? Because you clearly created something in your reality, and everyone as you pushed out, it's reflecting back to you what you're thinking and feeling. So that is something to pay attention to. So the gossiping with friends, this one is so I feel like people don't really pay attention to this one as much. I feel like it's talked about, but I feel like it's not really talked about why it's important not to. Gossiping with friends is a big no-no because this kind of links with self-sabotaging, and I'm not going to go into it, but I know we all have been there, right? I've been there myself. We self-sabotage our way out of things. So with gossiping with friends, we tend to sometimes keep reiterating that old story or something that's bugging us with our SP. So we're actually self-sabotaging, believe it or not, because a lot of times I will notice people start gossiping about something or complaining to me as a coach about their SP. And it's like, okay, you just manifested your SP in, right? Great. Okay, cool. But now you start finding a problem with them. And instead of going within and shifting that thought, what do? You end up just talking about it nonstop. That doesn't solve the problem, does it? So that's kind of a form of self-sabotaging that I've picked up on. So try to keep up with that. Remember, awareness is key with all of this. So don't get mad if you catch yourself doing these things. It's awareness that matters. Once you're acknowledging something, you're able to change it. So when the next time it tries to pop in, you can shift it. Self-sabotaging is very sneaky. So it will pop up in many different ways in your reality if you're not careful. If you feel like you've had things not work in your favor a lot, self-sabotaging will pop in and it will try to, it's almost like you'll have a limit where your brain says, oh, this is enough happiness. We have got to go back to what we know, because self-sabotaging is a form of control. I'll make a separate video on that. But anyways, back to this. Entertaining the old story in any shape, way, form. Okay, so I have a client right now. Her SP is showing up, totally old story. What is she doing? She's at a point in her life where there's no need for them to communicate until he shows up. Everybody's situation is different, guys. Please remember this. So just because my client is doing that with her SP doesn't mean it's going to be the same for your situation. It just varies. But stop entertaining this old story. If your SP is just wanting to be friends with benefits and you're just going to continue that on, and you know it hurts you deep down and you know it's going to pull you back into that old story, stop it. You have to put a boundary up with yourself. It's very important when you're manifesting. Another thing is detaching from your 3D. This one's huge. So the number one thing that I have learned on this journey is you're probably going to react regardless. If you think that you're so detached from something, you're going to have some type of reaction. Accept that. Okay, accept that you're going to have some type of reaction. But guess what? That reaction is probably going to be 0.5 seconds compared to when you first learned about the law, where you might have spiraled for hours on end. That you will notice, measure your progress by how fast you're able to flip from seeing something in your 3D you don't like and going into a new state going back into the state that you were originally in. That's progress, right? Feeling indifferent to what's going on and acceptance to your reality. So you need to accept your current reality. And I know this sounds kind of contradicting, but when we accept something, we're not giving it too much weight, right? When we're sitting here and we're angry as hell that something's going on in our reality with our SP, we're giving it a lot of focus. And when we give something focus, it's still alive and well in our minds. So when you're able to say, you know what, I don't really like how this is happening. One of my favorite things to tell clients is get the ick for your SP. Right? Like, ew, you're such a turnoff right now. Like, I'm not actually turned on by you. Like, I'm not attracted to you right now. That's how you can get in that indifferent state. And acceptance is just being like, okay, this is happening right now, but I'm a master manifestor and I know things shift at all the time, and I know things can shift instantly. So why am I going to get hung up on something I don't like? And also acknowledging, going back to the emotions and telling yourself it's okay to feel what you need to feel. If you have half a day where you're a little mad at your SP, whatever. If you're in that energy, whatever. I have seen clients who have been very mad at their SP for days or weeks on end, and their SP was still starting to show up and conform to some degree, right? Why? Because they weren't holding that, their emotions were not connected to their assumption. So anyways, I know I keep talking on that one a lot, but that one's really, really important, because a lot of times I see people get really hung up on that because of how people tell us to kind of understand the law. I have noticed a lot of times a lot of coaches are like, turn this emotion off and just be a robot. And that's not realistic. We're humans. So again, feeling acceptance of the situation. Another thing is free will, and that others are manifesting simultaneously while you're manifesting. Sounds contradicting as shit, whatever. But something that has helped me along the way is reminding myself that when things, for example, you're manifesting an SP in, right? And let's say it takes you 5 months to fully get them to show up in your reality. Okay, well, you could sit there and compare it to Sandy or Cindy over here, who only took like 2 weeks to get what they wanted, right? But you have to understand that the person has to conform to your reality, number one. That is it, period. But you don't know what else is going on in their reality, their self-concept of themselves as well. I have noticed the higher your self-concept gets, sometimes people get triggered by that. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. You are a mirror to them. Remember, they're living their lives too. And I like to see people as people, not just like, oh, I'm the only one existing in my reality and that's it. So that can kind of help you remind yourself, okay, my SP took a couple of weeks to get back to me, or my SP, didn't jump immediately and contact me because maybe self-worth issues or self-concept issues. It's not a block. I personally just see it as, if you think in the mindset of, okay, maybe this person has something going on, but they're going to get better at this, or they're going to be able to be a better communicator, whatever. That way, you're kind of having that acceptance of what's going on in your reality. Because a lot of times I've noticed when we take emotions away from humans and we say, why is this person not conforming? And then we get mad, and then we get mad at ourselves, and then we go back into that old story. So why not just tell yourself, okay, I know I'm doing everything right, and I know this person has to conform, but right now maybe they have a little bit of self-concept issues, or there's other things that are manifesting simultaneously with this. Think of it like that, and that creates that acceptance of the situation. All right, so I hope this helps you to become a master manifester as you are, and to be kind to yourself on this journey. It is a lifelong journey. It is not something that you're just gonna 100% perfect, okay? It's just not possible. You're gonna always experience things in your reality. This is what a true master manifestor is. Someone who knows that things may still show up in their reality. Instead of getting so upset with yourself, you know how to navigate it. That is the most important part. So I hope this video helps. It's a little bit long. Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon. And if you want coaching, links down below, or you can send us an email. Give us a few business days to get back to you. All right, bye.